Hi, my name is Tomba, and I'm one of the very lucky few that have a Steam Deck this early. I also play a lot of modded Minecraft, so as you can see where this video is going, this video from start to finish should help you get the best out of playing modded Minecraft on the Steam Deck. Since it runs Linux, it can run it natively, so we don't have any issues with Proton, but we'll be going through multiple steps from installing the launcher that I'm going to be showing. There's multiple launchers that probably work on Linux, but this one should be the easiest. Adding it to Steam, and then by proxy, SteamOS mode, which is probably what you're going to want to use. Adding artwork to Steam, this step is completely optional. However, I feel like it definitely enhances the experience. Changing the controls to better suit modded Minecraft in general, as well as adding a mod that adds controller support. So that mod is called Controllable, I believe it's called, and it has support for Forge mod packs from versions 1.16 to 1.18.2. There might be other mods that do something similar for older versions of Minecraft, as well as the Fabric mod loader ecosystem, but that's not what I'm going to be covering today, because I'm also unfamiliar with it. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here we are in SteamOS. It's where you might have most of your games easily viewable. It's where the Steam Deck first shows up. I will be able to show you the screen clearer in desktop mode where OBS can actually record it, but for some reason my USB-C to HDMI hub does not work on either. It doesn't even. Yeah, I got it to appear once, but it never appeared again, so I'm not really too sure what's up with that. But to get started, you want to go to Power and switch to Desktop. This will switch it to the desktop mode. Alright, so now that we are in desktop mode, as you can see, I can actually just use OBS to record this, so luckily we don't have to look at my hands again. The first thing I want to do is, yours might look slightly different than this, but down on this bar you should have something that says Discover. This is basically the app depository. You're going to want to go to Search, and then open up your keyboard using the Steam plus X button. This is your on-screen keyboard. Then you just type in GDLauncher, which is the launcher we'll be using because it automatically installs Java for you. And then hit install. Now I've already done this, so and I think I deleted all the files, so hopefully this looks good. But once it's installed, we can exit out of here, and then we can go over here, then go to games, scroll through all the games that you may or may not have installed. GDLauncher is the first one that pops up. And then, yes, cool. This is what I was really hoping they would actually do by removing the files. It'll say that you do not have Java. Just hit automatic setup and it'll install the Java 8 and Java 17, which is used for Java 8's used for like 1.12 and below, and Java 17's used for, actually, I think only 1.17 does this. Then you're going to want to sign in, and I will do this off camera. Alright, so once you've done that, you should get this pop up. It says, welcome to GDLauncher. Just hit the arrow, stuff like this. I guess I should explain how the default stuff works. So the right trackpad is the mouse, and then you just click it for right click, and you click the left pad for left click, or right click. It's opposite of what you think, but it makes more sense. A couple things we're going to want to change in this setting. First of all, modern modern Minecraft takes more RAM than normal, so we're going to have to go over to this Java category, and then we're going to have to bump this up to, I would probably put it up there, but your mod pack might vary. You have to remember that Steam Deck only has 16 gigs of RAM, and you cannot upgrade it, so you just have to kind of deal with it. Then you want to go over here, drag this down. Might be a little bit hard to get this down here. The only other thing that we have to change by default is hide launcher while playing, and that is important for game scope, which game scope is what Valve uses in SteamOS mode to detect which window that it should be displaying, because when it's in SteamOS mode, you don't have a desktop environment. It tries to display only one window at a time. Then you can just hit that, because otherwise the launcher and the game will fight each other for that screen real estate, and you'll get massive flickering until the game's loaded. And in general, the launcher will pop back up anyway, so just make sure you set that. You might even have that set on your Windows machine if you run Windows as your main thing, like I do. And I believe that is all I needed to show you. Next, we're going to want to go ahead and install a mod pack. This might take a while. We're just going to install Ignimatica 6, because it is a pretty popular and mod pack, and it's a mod pack I already have a server for, so I don't have to generate a new world. There it is. Download latest. Just go ahead and download it. Now you can, while this is downloading, I should explain, you can run other Java executables, and as well as change this to the native resolution of the Steam Deck, which I believe is 1280 by 800. So all I have to do is bring up the keyboard. And then I don't remember how to, I think you just have to hit this, right? No, I do not remember how to do that, but just move over. We'll actually set this to 720p. There is a reason for that. And hopefully I stalled enough time. Oops. And then we can get out of here. So you can run your own Java executables if you have one that you prefer. I know that on my Windows machine, I prefer a certain one that uses a certain garbage collector that seems to run faster. I haven't experimented with that stuff on the deck yet, but so far my experiences with modded Minecraft has been pretty good. So we'll come back whenever this is done downloading. Alright, now that the mod pack is installed, we're going to try to go over, right click this, hit manage, go to mods, go to add mod, then bring up the Steam keyboard to type in. Like I said, I believe it was called Controllable. Would it help if I could spell? Controllable, yep. Click that, and now it should be installed. We're not going to run the game just yet. We're going to do our first run of it into SteamOS mode, but that will definitely help. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we actually need to add it to Steam. So we can close out of the launcher for now. Well, Steam's open here, but normally it would be like right here, and you just click it, and then hit library, and then you'll be here. So then you have to hit add a non-Steam game. Scroll down until you find it. For us, it'll be GDLauncher. Add selected programs. And that's it. It's added to Steam. Now you can do this optionally. You can add artwork, and I recommend doing it because it makes the game look a lot more like it belongs. So if you just scroll down to where it was, you can go here. We can right click. We can hit properties. We can rename this. I'm actually just going to rename this to Minecraft Java Edition, because you can supposedly run Bedrock on this, but I have no interest in doing so, but I hear you can. Although I hear it's only the Android version of Bedrock, so yeah. Alright, so that should be that. Then you can go hit this. It'll ask for an icon. I just have to go to where I installed it. There's a website called SteamGridDB, if you Google that. Or I'll probably just link in the description. You can pick different icons that you want to use. In this case, this is going to be an icon. Then we can go here. We can hit right click into here, custom background. Same thing, we're just going to need Pictures, Steam grids. This one is a hero. Yep. Then right click, set custom logo. This one's going to be the logo. Then if you just launch the game real quick and then exit out of it, doesn't really matter. Then go back to, I believe, your library home. If you add a shelf and then choose that shelf to be recent games, it'll pop up right here. Then you can hit that, manage, set custom artwork for this, and this will be the home. And I believe there's one more we're missing. There is one more we're missing. If we go to back to the library, and then I don't know how to do this otherwise, but if you have categories, if you just hit the category it's in, you'll get this grid mode. Then right click, manage, set custom artwork. This one's going to be the grid, I believe. Yes. And that's all you need for the custom artwork. At this point, we can go back into SteamOS mode. There's a couple ways you can do that, but the easiest way is there's a shortcut that Valve already puts on your desktop that says return to gaming mode. And we're just going to click that, and we'll be right back. Alright, so now we're back in SteamOS mode, which means you have to look at my hands. I apologize, but this is the one thing I can't seem to get recording. Anyway, so in this mode, now we have, it should pop up in your most recent games because we just clicked it once to load up the game. There's a couple things we want to do beforehand. So if you go to your library on Steam, then go to non-Steam games, it should have, you want to hit over to the controller options, then if you go to templates, you're going to want to go with gamepad with mouse and trackpad. So what this does is if you go to the edit, well, if you go to, I believe there's a thing where I can preview it, yep. This is going to be the preview for this. So basically everything else is typically the same. The right D-pad, or these still work as analog sticks. Everything functions as a controller. The only thing that's different is this right mouse pad functions as a mouse. And then if you click it, it still is R3. We can change that, and we will change that. If we go over to trackpads, you can have this one set to left-click mouse, just like in the desktop mode. And then the left pad one, I typically turn this one to single button. And then this one will be right-click. That way the left pad does nothing, but you can still click it for the left-click just like you would in desktop mode. Now, the cool thing about SteamOS is any of these things you can completely change. The controller mod just lets us do some cool stuff outside of this. So then, at this moment, we're pretty much done. We just hit play. And this is where it shouldn't do anything with that. That was weird. That's a non-Steam game anyway. I'm not really too sure what was doing there. This is where GameScope works in. So it takes the whole window, zooms it into the entire screen, and this is all you get when it comes to... where did my mouse go? Well, we can just exit out of this. And this, like, since we added all the logo stuff, you can see the assets that we added to that. It makes the whole UI look a lot cleaner. So, since we did change that stuff, we have access to the mouse and stuff, so we can just click this and hit play. It'll do this because the launcher closed, but the game opened, so it didn't know what window it needs to be active. And then at this moment, where you can just sit down and watch the game load, because as modded Minecraft is, it takes forever to load, so we'll be back when that's loaded. Alright, so I apologize for my mic stand being in the way for the partial of the shot, but here we are. For the last segment, I was going back at the footage while it was loading and noticed that, but that's not the point. Okay, so here we have Enigmatica 6 loaded up. We're going to do a couple changes here first. First of all, we're actually going to get this thing to go into full screen mode, and then I typically play on moody or bright. I found that 8 chunks is pretty good, but if you want to raise it up, because the screen on the Steam Deck is only 60 hertz, it can only display 60 frames per second anyway, then you might want to bump it up even, because as I'm about to show you, it does pretty well. And then if we go over to controls, you see this controller thing. This is what actually adds this thing. So it sets the Steam Virtual Gamepad. We just go to settings. I typically turn this off, this render mini setting, because if it says it's enabled, the player will render in the top left to the corner like Bedrock Edition. It gets annoying. I don't want it there, but so I can just turn this off. There's a bunch of other stuff we can do. I'm not sure what radial the thumbstick to use when scrolling items and that. Okay. Anyway, so then you can change bindings here as you wish. For the most part, I won't be touching these just because this is a quick demonstration. But you can do a lot of stuff. And then all you have to do is load up a world. Now, since I have a server for this, and it would take less time for me to go onto the server, just to show this up, I already have it pre-set up here. Just so I don't have to generate a world. This should be relatively easy to do. The cool thing about how this has so many controller options is you can move around with the analog stick, and as you can see, there is a cursor there. You can just navigate the whole controller menu with just this. And I will actually show that off once we actually get to a point where I can do this. Or I can use the mouse, which I feel like will be a lot more better suited. And I feel like this thing could be a seriously powerful Minecraft, even if it's not modded Minecraft, like vanilla. This would be seriously powerful to play vanilla Java edition on the go, in a very unique and honestly wonderful form factor. With the track sticks, you're not locked to just analog sticks. You have options, and that's the cool thing about the Steam Deck. So we'll be back once this actually loads into the world. So this is a quick section that I'm going to have to splice in somewhere near the end of the video. This is about a week after I recorded this, and I've been very lazy about editing, but I've been playing Chroma Sky 2, a skyblock map, to try to get used to the controls. And I just want to mention some stuff that I feel like would benefit people for this. In my experiences, you definitely still want controllable. I know that Steam Input allows you to emulate keyboard and mouse pretty well. And there's like a radial menu that you can do. I tried doing that, but in my opinion, it didn't seem to be that consistent. Whereas this, you can press, by default, it's right on the D-pad, and then I can set... actually, I'll go ahead and show this off. So if you go to... options, go to the controls part, you go to bindings, you go to add keybind. Most of these are modded keybinds, and you just hit this plus. As you can see, like I have this one set the plus right here, or this one doesn't have an option to add it because I've already added it to the list. And then if you go down here, it will appear on the custom list. So you can say that I have Ultimine set to the left D-pad. So now whenever I hold left on the D-pad, it says I have Ultimine, for example. Likewise, now I'm holding left, and then it appears, and it shows that that's actually working. But then if you go over to, if you press right on the D-pad, then use the right analog stick, and then that's how you can select all the different options, and then you hit right again, and it'll actually do what you want, or it'll actually do what you ever highlighted. And then you can add stuff to this, which I added all the other custom ones to this. So that includes opening up the backpack. If I had a backpack, that would work. Opening up the Lost Trinkets GUI. So far, this has been very, very useful because it's like hooked into the game and not something that SteamOS has. But that being said, the beauty of this thing is I've actually used some Steam input stuff on here as well. So if I just go ahead and hit Steam, for example, all the back paddles are actually doing something now. I put the shift key on L5. You can crouch using this, and you still can. But what I've found out is some tooltips, specifically in this mod pack I'm doing for the sluices. Might be pronouncing that wrong, to be fair. They have extra stuff that you can only do whenever you're holding shift on the tooltips, and that only works whenever you're actually holding shift. So that's something I've done. And then I've also done like rest R and U for that, and I don't remember what I set for the other one. Right. I set that to the A key for bookmarking stuff on that. But that's just been my experiences. This world has been running entirely on the Steam Deck. This one's not on a server, unlike the previous section. And I think that the best way of going forward is to using a controller mod with Steam input to get the best experience possible. Not necessarily something that, oh, one's better than the other, but using them together is going to help you a lot more, I feel. So I'm going to go ahead and splice that in and hopefully enjoy the rest of the video. Alright, so here we are at the final step. So as you can see, you can still use the right analog stick for the controls, and you can still use the left analog stick to move, just like you would. So if you're really used to playing the game on console, then nothing's really changed too much. However, you can use the trackpad as a mouse, and as you can see, if you do that, you lose access to the UI that appears on the bottom screen, because it actually does have, like, controller UI for whatever you're doing. But typically you'll probably just get used to how the game actually runs, and then as you can see, it has all the possible mods you could want, and just L&R does this, blah blah blah, then right trigger does, left trigger does right click, I believe, right? Yeah, so some pretty basic stuff. You're probably definitely going to want to use the mouse or the trackpad for like screens like this. And in general, if you find that something's not going to be working with the controller, you can obviously go into SteamOS's settings and do that. But next we're going to just show you the performance real quick. So the performance in this very, very easy to run render of the world. As you can see, I'm getting like 110, 160, like 90. I've dipped down to like 80 FPS in this area in my testings earlier. But as you can tell, like I am plugged in. I'm not sure if that affects anything. I don't think it does. But in general, it does a pretty good job. And something that you can do with the D-pad, in particular with Controllable, is I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but the D-pad will just always go to this, where the analog stick, you can move it around. The D-pad will just go to the next nearest button that it wants to click on. And it works for modded buttons too, it looks like. Yeah. So that is how to get modded Minecraft working on the Steam Deck. Your performance may vary, but it's been a very powerful machine in my testings for the resolution that this screen is based on. And I've had nothing but fun playing this system. It's honestly, making this video was the first time I touched my actual gaming computer since I got the Steam Deck about 4 days ago. And I'm sure some of that has to do with, oh, it's a new thing, it's in a very unique and exciting form factor. But I just can't wait to like actually start putting a bunch of time into this game, into this system. Alright, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any more ideas for Steam Deck related videos, because I know not everyone has a Steam Deck right now, and I actually seem to know what I'm doing, apparently. Leave them in the description below. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe or whatnot. And I'll see you guys next time. I'll also try to figure out a way how to actually record the screen in SteamOS mode.